Dwarven realms. I'll start off by saying that this game is definitely shouldn't be free, as it's extremely full hack and slash looting game. Has a lot of bugs, nothing game breaking currently, but devs are listening to all feedback and fixing them as fast. The world is fairly large and the character skill tree fairly large, allowing for a bunch of customization. No quest or story. Let's start from pros. It's a fun game that can waste some time if you just feel like grinding and exploring the scenery. It currently has a kind of decent crafting system as well as Diablo's gears purchasing system on top of loot dropping from monsters and bosses. While I was able to get to the end of the game in about 6 hours, I believe I couldn't find any more content. There's a ton of replayability as they have a bunch of different weapon trees, skills and more. Each zone has multiple bosses and dangers that you have to be clear with the next zone. The developers seem to be extremely invested to the project and are listening to all feedbacks and bugs. Now about the guns. As much as I enjoy the game, there are a lot of issues, which is to be expected from an early access game. Please do not dislead that turf when you're trying it. Crafting system is fairly limited and most of the gear you make it doesn't last long. Typically, you're replacing your gear with the minutes of crafting or buying gear. Leveling, while it's best of killing mobs, it doesn't feel rewarding. Instead of getting experience for killing mobs, you get a small amount but it hardly increases between zones. You instead get books, scrolls and artifacts that they drop and turn them into resource station to gain experience. Skill tree, while it's pretty massive, by the time I reached the final zone I was about 15-20% of the way through the first weapon path. There's a 4 weapon path and the 4 miscellaneous path of defense, attack, luck and movement. To fully max out a single tier would take days of grinding and the last down with no reward. The combat, the AI could use some improvement. Most of the mobs had the predictable movements and fall to the count kite, move in, attack, back away and repeat method. While you do have the capability of blocking, it doesn't seem to do much, as long as you keep moving the only mobs that you are threat or ranged. Game seems to have a magic system, but none of the skill trees showed any magic abilities and the stuff in the game didn't have any special abilities. Those in dungeon zones and dungeons have a ton of mobs in them. This table, some being so heavily populated, which causes a large amount of frame skipping. Dungeons also don't feel dangerous. They appear to have the traps built into some, but it's only stationary for visual appearance. Interactable objects, most items can simply be walked over to auto loot and chests function like normal. However, you need to craft these keys in order to open them. They aren't rare, you'll have dozens of them. The biggest flaw being crafts, vases, etc. are unbreakable objects forcing you to walk up and open each and every one. Developers are very active on the games on Discord server. I'm having a ton of fun and plan to continue and coming back. So, about the good. Skill tree with choices, combat is engaging enough, leveling up is different, XP, book drops, blood killing monsters, fossil of the Dwarven demigods, one of your items that you can drop stats onto the cross whether it's powerful. On hit processes from the skill tree feels impactful, variation offered from the rupees feels good, armor looks good enough that without the transmog cosmetic system I wasn't saddened about my character experience. I'm looking at your Elden Ring. Loot goblins are expecting to find and drop the good item and crafting system is engaging and entices me to farm mats. Now about the criticism. Raw optimization, although very playable. On i9, 10, 99k plus RTX 3090 constant drops to 30 FPS, which one wouldn't expect from the game like that looks under mending. Also game's frame are capped at 60 FPS. Combat could use more depth with additional weapon ability choices and add the 3D usability. Could map QAR and more interact from the E to G. Nitpicking, dodge controls and unorthodox DXC but can be remapped. Nitpicking, does crafting continue when leaving home base? If it has a timer on it, it should. I hate the mages, so much damage, constant big plating and spreading out, ignore them, move the neck back as the way as it is fun it's not worth the time to kill them. So guys, overall it's a good game, and I'm excited to see where the devs take. But come into the game with just "I'm just here to kill things" mentality for now.